This is Dinner at the Round Table Podcast. Be astonished. This is Dinner at the Round Table Podcast.
Oh.
Here's the plan. We get the warhead and we hold the world ransom for $1 million. $1 million. $1 million.
Then at the Roundtable Podcast, you really know what it is, man. We're live from New York and from Albania. We got a show, Chris Fighter. Introduce our special guest.
Texas, baby. We all international here on Dinner at the Round Table. We all over the world.
3 time zones.
It's a privilege and an honor to introduce my good friend, one of the best human beings I've ever met, Ray. Let's talk about who you are as a person and what inspired you to become a world traveler. And before you answer that question, let's tell the people how many countries you've been in the last 3 years.
Oh, all right, man. In the last 3 years, first of all, thanks for having me on Dinner at the Round Table. I love your show, man. This is an honor. I love podcasting. Wanted to say that first off the bat. All right, so I've been in 25 countries. Yeah, 25 countries, past 3 years. 1 full year in Asia, mostly Southeast Asia. I started in Thailand and moved around there slowly and got used to the life. And then I moved on to Europe, and I've been here pretty much 2 years straight. 25 countries, some really obscure ones a lot of people don't know about, don't usually go to, which has been cool. Like where I am now, Albania, man. Albania, it's a tiny little nation. It's the coolest place, but anyways, 25 countries, something like 25.
What's amazing is that we're in 3 different time zones doing this show. That's how incredible it is in technology. The fact that we got a New York time zone, we got a Texas time zone.
1, 2, 3.
I love the map.
Yeah.
So let other people who you are. Is that's other people what inspired you to become a traveler.
I like that. Okay, for sure. All right, man. Yes, my name's Ray Supan. I'm originally from Bay Area, California, San Francisco Bay Area. That's where I grew up as a kid. Was in California my whole life, and man, I love basketball, I love hip hop, I love geography, I love learning about culture, love food. What else can I say, man? Well, how we got to get to know each other. So on a whim, I moved out to New York City about 10 years ago, and it changed my perspective on everything, man. And that's where I met Chris. We worked at the same spot, and we've been connected ever since. And up in Manhattan, and lived there for 3 years. So I've been abroad 3 years, lived in New York 3 years. Those are 3 valuable years right there, man. Doing both of those things. Like when I was young, I never thought I would do either of those things, man. So moving to New York was already like going to another planet from Cali, man. It was just like, whoa, this is like almost like a different country. Learning the lingo, I'm tight, man. I'm tight. I'm like, saying tight is like a good thing. Like, that was tight, like in the California accent. But then learning that it's something totally different. Anyway, so I moved back to the West Coast. I decided to go back to college. I lived in Oregon, and I studied geography, map making, and environmental science. And I got really studious after living in New York. It was really cool, man, when you're older. Like in comparison to when you're like 18, want to party, get crazy all the time. When most kids are in college, 18, 19, I noticed when I was older, I was like, this is kind of cool. I can focus a lot more. I understand what's going on. I want to chill, and I just knocked it out. So I ended up graduating, got 2 bachelor's degrees, and I was working in Oregon, and I just was like, oh man, the world. I've always been so fascinated with the world. That's one thing I liked about New York was there's that living in New York from every country in the world. So I lived in Queens, Brooklyn, and then in Queens where I could walk one direction, get Mongolian food, the other direction, Mexican food, the other direction, the country of Georgia food. So I started getting into that way back in New York, the worldly thing. And yeah, man, I figured it out. Me and my wife, we figured out a job we could do online with tutoring kids, and we just went for it. I sold all my stuff, no car, donated a bunch of clothes. We packed up 4 bags. We've heard about other people doing this before, and we got a one-way ticket to Thailand, man, 2018, yeah. Wow. And that was that. So that's a pretty good synopsis.
Talk about following your dream.
Yeah.
You know, when you got a purpose and a dream you want to, reach, you just go ahead and do it, man. And I'm proud of you for doing that, man. It takes a lot of balls. I mean, it takes a lot of balls to do that.
Yeah, man. It was.
He used to live in North apartment complex.
Yeah, man. I lived 2 years in LaFrac City, the United States building, right down 57th Avenue. That was dope, man. It was cool. I walked every day to the train station over by Queens Center Mall and got to know some of the dudes, played basketball with them in the neighborhood, and had the barbecues in the middle of the complex. And what's the rapper that I used to see out there? One of Nori's friends. He's always, yeah. No, not Capone and Noriega. No, oh man, I love that first album. Oh man, it's one of my all-time favorites, man. The War Report. They got the building on the side. Oh man, I love that era, golden era New York rap. We could get into that in a second, but anyways, he's always on Nori's podcast. That's a pretty dope podcast. So where they're drinking, they interview people. Big Chance, Young Really, something like that. Anyways. I used to see him all the time, and I lived in Flatbush, Brooklyn before that. That was cool, man, hanging out with the Jamaicans. Man, all the barbershops, and it was a cool experience, man. I'll never forget it out there.
Raymond, would you say that moving to New York and seeing how diverse New York was, did that influence you to become a world traveler?
Yes, definitely.
You're like, wow, there's so many different cultures. I want to go out there and actually visit those places.
Exactly. Yes, for sure, man. You like Flushing, Queens is right around the corner of my house, and you go across where the Mets are, Mets Field, City Field, and you get over to Flushing. It's like you're in a different country, man. The signs aren't in English anymore. It's like you're in Asia somewhere, China or Hong Kong or Taiwan. And then when I was in Brooklyn, I used to go down to over by Coney Island, Brighton Beach, and
Russians.
The signs aren't in English anymore, man. They're in Cyrillic Russian, and everyone they're speaking English. I was just like, this is crazy, man. Yeah, so that was a big influence.
I could definitely see how New York City, being so diverse, influenced you.
For sure.
Because you was able to see firsthand the different cultures, but then you took another step forward and you actually started visiting these countries. So yeah, man. So you visited. You said over 25 countries already.
Yeah, 25 countries. I'm not one of these people that want to like knock them out, like do it real fast. So I live in like each city for about a month. This year I've had to stretch it out a little longer. Sometimes it was short stays, but yeah, man, it's been 25 countries. Back to what you were saying though about New York, the people. So I went to my college thing started at Borough Manhattan Community College, CUNY is where I finished out my credit so I could transfer. And there's so many people from so many countries. And one thing they all would tell me, even people from here, Albania, that I met, they would always tell me, oh man, you should visit my country. Maybe Vietnam. They would talk about their home. Even at Puerto Rico, at Cinderella. What's his name that I used to work with, man? Pablo. Pablo.
I was there not too long ago in Puerto Rico.
That was my first international. I know it's kind of part of America, but that was one of my first big
overseas.
In 2014. Yeah, I went there, and
it's still overseas. It's all you gotta cross some waters to get there anyway.
Yeah. I counted it as a different country, man, but that's a whole other subject. Anyways, I went there, and Pablo and other people I met from Puerto Rico were like, our home, you would love it there. The beaches, the party, and the food, the people, and I felt it when I went there, and I was like, I got to do this again. People that I talked to about their home areas, I got to go check it out and see what they're talking about. And I got hooked, man. It got me. I couldn't imagine not doing it anymore. Yeah, it's addicting, man. It really is. 25 countries. Are we still on? Everything's good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Countries is that's a big deal. So let's talk about in the beginning, like how difficult was it in the beginning for you though?
Man. So
because I've always seen on your posts, you're always talking about how great the food was and the street food too. Because a lot of people don't know that the best food you can get is in the street.
In the street, yeah, man.
And when you go to Puerto Rico, you go to DR, and Nelly can tell you the best food is in the campesinos.
Yeah. The mom and pops, the people.
Stores, yep. Listen, I went when I went to Mexico, Cancun. The last time I went, I decided not to do like the resort, like the resort area. I wanted to actually experience like.
That's how you do it. Yeah, good.
Like right in the middle of Cancun, where people go to work at and all that. Like all the hoods are there.
Yeah,
I'll tell you this much: I used to go every day to see this one lady. She used to make the quesadillas by hand, like from scratch.
Oh man!
The tortilla flaps, she'll make them by hand or for scratch. She'll grab a corn, she'll mush the cone, she'll mush the corn down, and then make a little like a little clay like thing, and it was over. And I went to her every freaking day. Every day.
It probably was so good. Oh, I love Mexican food. Cali, I grew up around that too, man. I don't got a lot of experience there, but those are the places. And one thing is you speak Spanish already, right? Both of you guys speak Spanish, so that's another huge thing is learning the language, at least a little bit of where you're going. I always like to learn. Thank you, hello, goodbye, and of course, cheers, man. You got to learn cheers. So the basic thing, then you end up picking up more, and when you actually like show respect, like you said, getting out of the resort, super touristy area, going where people work, going where people live, going to the mom and pop food people selling food on the street. When you show them like that respect, the feeling that you get back is just dope, man.
I definitely think so because like when you stay in the resort area, you're like a tourist. You don't get to really experience the culture like that. So that's what I made that decision to actually stay in the inner city and figure out what the Mexican
that's cool, man.
About in Cancun. And tell me, I met some great people, man, down there.
That's cool, man.
Great people.
Yes.
Man. And I'm Mike's, and then going forward, everywhere that I go to, I just like to stay like in the inner city, where everything is moving because I want to experience the culture. I want to see what.
That's what I do. About. Yeah. Well, that's a huge thing. I use Airbnb. My wife, she sets it all up, man. She's a logistics master. God
bless her.
Everything up. I don't even. Yeah. She organizes. How much we need for this, and I'm like, oh, good. She finds good deals, so. That takes a little stress off me for that, man. She's been doing that since New York, though.
So, Raymond,
yeah, you call me Ray, man. Ray's good.
What is your ultimate objective with traveling the world? Or are you gonna give a testimony about your experience, or this is just something that you're doing for your own, gratitude, I guess, for yourself? Like, are you gonna open up a vlogging service? Are you gonna do videos? Are you gonna be like that guy that goes out there, tastes food and makes videos on Discovery Channel?
Yeah, man. One of my biggest inspirations for this was rest in peace, Anthony Bourdain, man, New Yorker. I love that show where he would travel around and drink and eat with the locals and everything. So that's like the dream right there, man. The vlogging, and I've been making videos. I've been getting real into the history. So that's like been blowing my mind because like the western half of the world, of course there's Native Americans, but that isn't that well documented because of a lot of crazy stuff that happened, of course, with colonialism and everything. And like you talk about, like I saw that fort in Puerto Rico, that Spanish fort. It's like I think 1500s. That's like I don't know what 500 years old, something like that. I go out here. The Castillo.
San Juan?
Yeah, San Juan, the Castillo. So that was like that already blew my mind. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, yeah, man. When I saw that, I was already like, that place is cool, man. I was like, this is crazy, you know. But then when you go to this side of the world, man, the Eastern Hemisphere, the history is crazy. Think you're looking at things that are like 3,000 years old, Roman history, walking around Asia, all these ancient temples and stuff that I found. So I've been going crazy on that. I've just always been interested on that, and that's been my like hyper focus to explore history.
Being like the next Anthony Bourdain, man, just out there eating and giving your experience to the world. And I mean, that's what it's about, you know. I mean,
I know, it's a dream, man.
You give back to the people and tell them, hey, this is what I experienced in this area. You guys come check it out.
Yeah.
You had a great time. But have you been to China yet?
Hong Kong I've been to, not mainland China, no. Haven't been there yet. But talk about history, man. They got 5,000 years of history. I've been researching it like crazy. Yeah, what was that? Sorry.
The Great China Wall wasn't actually if you ever been there, but I guess that's not in Hong Kong, right? That's like in the outskirts.
Yeah, no, that's up in more near Beijing, so that like in the way north. I don't know, you can see behind me. It's way up here. It's kind of like the difference of Florida and New York. Hong Kong, it's a big country.
I heard Hong Kong is a very like advanced city. Like they're very like technological and like another New York City type.
Yeah, big time.
Is it?
It's definitely true. The subway's nice and clean, and everything runs smoothly, and the buildings are all futuristic. They got robots working in some places, you know, like in banks and stuff. Yeah. They're Tokyo and Singapore are three places that are like that. That are like, it's like New York, but clean, crazy, futuristic. Man. Those were dope to experience.
I've seen in some parts of Hong Kong and Tokyo, where if you order room service to eat or something, you don't even get a live person. You don't get a live person. You get a robot brings it.
Yeah, it's crazy. Stuff like that.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. Those places are cool. Okay, what's that?
How big was Singapore? Because I know these cities out there are like 10 times the size of New York. Singapore.
Yeah, man.
Like 10 times the size of
Tokyo. That's the biggest one. Biggest city in the world, man. Tokyo, I think, has 50 million people. Something insane like that. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, but it's
how much is New York has? New York has 8 or 9. I think it is insane.
Yeah, 8 or 9 million. But it's like the whole metro area. So you know. If you like added New York, Long Island, and New Jersey, it gets bigger, obviously. But Singapore was cool because it's like kind of like New York. It's on islands. It's just a big island, so they have to build up. So they got all the cool skyscrapers and everything. And man, those places are cool. But I like going to the more like rural kind of places that kind of had a rough history, you know, that they don't have a lot of money, man. Sometimes those places are the best. Kind of like here, Albania, they had a crazy history where they, you know, had a crazy government with a dictator not that long ago and civil wars. And another one that I really like was Laos. It's near Vietnam and Thailand. And that place was just incredible, man. Like hardly anybody knows about it. And the best part is when you go to a place like that where they hardly seen foreigners, the people are they're so happy. Like, oh, man, some people, they grab me and want to take a selfie with me. They're so excited that I came to their village or something like that. You know, they're like, selfie, you know, and like that feeling is just so cool. They're just so happy. Yeah, man. There's a lot of experiences like that.
Ray, there was one thing I wanted to ask you because I remember when you went to Vietnam, I wanted to ask you how Vietnam was.
Yeah, that was cool.
You know, the war, you know, the Vietnam War was that long ago. You know, think about it.
70s.
Yeah, man. It was. I wasn't knowing what to expect there, but I went from south to north, Ho Chi Minh City, Saigon, you know, and up to Hue and up to Hanoi, the capital. And each one of those places, man, first of all, they aren't doing bad there, man. Everything's rolling there. They got huge buildings, nice food, everything's going on. Tourism is going good. Yeah, like it's really bounced back from after that crazy time not that long ago to just being like, I was like looking around, I was like, this is nice. I'm happy for the people here, like the kids are smiling and everyone's riding around on their motorbikes, like
no trace of war there, like from UK, everything is like modernized. There's like nothing from the war.
Well, I wouldn't say there's no trace, but it just, I was surprised because you like learn about it in America and like from movies and stuff, and you're like, oh man, people probably got it really bad there. It's obviously there's still poverty and stuff going on, but I went to this museum there that was crazy. It was called the like American War Crimes Museum or something, and it was like from their point of view, and they had all these like equipment that America left there, like helicopters and stuff. That was kind of
one of my top questions for you. In my experience when traveling, right?
Yeah,
I've noticed that there's a very big difference in what their version of the history is versus
oh man,
I feel like our history is kind of altered to fit like a certain agenda, but I've gone to other countries where the whole story about certain like wars and certain things is completely the opposite of what the United States has in their history books. Did you experience that? Did you experience that yourself as well?
I wouldn't say that it's opposite, but you kind of look at it as a different perspective. Like that museum, they highlighted a lot of the really terrible stuff they did, where they used napalm and Agent Orange and stuff all over Vietnam, and like all these kids were born with deformities, and all these people got cancer and all this terrible stuff, and like you never hear about that about you just hear about the American soldiers and the stuff they went through. And I brought up Laos earlier. Laos, Laos. So in the Vietnam War, the Ho Chi Minh Trail went through Laos. So that country ended up being the most bombed country ever in history. American bombs were just dropped all over Laos. There's still some that people step on to this day that they get injured.
Really? And so they have mines still? Like,
yeah. And we dropped all of them, or not we, but America dropped all of them, and I never heard of that. When I went there, they told me about that.
Active mines, people could just walk over and like blow their feet.
Yeah, and active bombs that dropped from planes that never blown up, and the most bombed country in the history of the world is Laos from American. Yeah. Anyways,
that's
learn about stuff.
That's in the countryside, right? Where all like the high what do you call that area? Where the high grass is at, like in the forest, right? Correct? Yeah.
A lot of it's in the forest and countryside. You're right, but it was just crazy hearing locals tell stories about that, man. It's really effective.
Of the war there, because you can still find yourself.
Yeah. There are some places. Yeah, man. There's some places where you see bullet marks and stuff all over the walls and stuff. There's these temples that I went to where this big battle was at. And
imagine you're just walking around.
It was a trip.
So there's an interesting.
You're like, what the?
Like a real big history buff. In World War II, one of the bloodiest battles in World War II was Peleliu in the Pacific, and go to Peleliu now. There's like, you have to like go into certain areas because there's still bombs from World War II that if you step off the trail, you can hit.
Still there.
Yeah,
man.
But I can imagine how many bombs is still in Vietnam, and it's just crazy that was it 50 years ago? 100.
Yeah, 50, 60 years ago. Yeah. It's a trip. We're lucky people that grew up in the U.S. Man, we never had war on
our grounds.
Yeah, never. So looking at
we was against each other in Civil War.
Yeah, man. Looking at it from that perspective is a lot different, man.
When we kicked out the English, when we kicked them out, we kicked the Great Britain.
Yeah. That was
Other than that, we've never had a war on our soil.
Never. Never. You're right. Yeah.
But Japan hit us in Pearl Harbor, but that wasn't Hawaii, right?
Yeah, that was one thing. And anyways, man, this conversation started to get intense. It's my time here. What's that?
Albanian water?
Yo, Nell.
How's the water out there in Albania, huh?
Alaska in World War II was a war zone. It was a battlefield.
Yeah, on some islands there, they did have it. Yeah, man. This is not Albanian water, actually. It looks like it. It's in a water glass. So this is something homemade that they make here called raki. All over the Balkans, they like it.
It's like a moonshine for Albania, right?
Yeah. The people love it here, man. They love it, and it's real, like inexpensive.
Question.
So I'm gonna drink some of this on the around the round table. Is that all right with you guys?
Albanians have a big reputation of being like tough and like.
Yeah, they are
kind of tough and cutthroat. As a matter of fact, they were so tough and so cutthroat that even the mob was scared of them. The mob was scared of them. John Gotti. There's a story. Have you ever heard of it? Sammy the Bull goes to Astoria, Queens,
Gazur,
to discuss some turf situation with the Albanians out there.
There's a lot of Albanians in New York.
When he jumped out of their vehicle, when the Sammy the Bull and the Italian mob jumps out of their vehicles, they met in a gas station. And the Albanians were like, you know what? You guys are not taking over Astoria. This is ours. If not, we're just gonna blow up the gas station. We all die. And Sammy the Bull called John Gotti and said, you know what? These motherfuckers are crazy, man. Yeah, just give them Astoria. It's only a little part of the city. We have
That's crazy.
Yes.
It's true.
Real tough. They're tough guys, man. Real tough. Have you experienced that? Like a tough Albanian guy? Like
they like their lek, man. This is Albanian money right here. 2000.
Have you experienced that? Like you go to the local bakery and there's like a tough like baker in the back and like
this guy. See, it's their history, man. These people, it comes from way back. But yeah.
Like you go to the local bakery and the guy behind the behind the counter, he's into something else. Now
Yeah. I could tell, man. Yeah. Here,
he's not only a cupcake maker; he makes something else back there.
Yeah, there's something like that. Before Albania, I was in Sicily, actually, Palermo. So I experienced that too, which was interesting also. So yeah, you got the eye. You just got to be cool, smile. It's not like I don't feel like dating.
What
one thing. Well, bringing that up. What's that?
Cutting off there, Raymond. Cutting off.
You still up there?
Okay, you go. Okay, now.
Yeah.
You were cutting off for a while.
What was I gonna say? Abroad, no matter where it is, poor countries, places with lots of money, places with some sketchy stuff going on, like maybe the Balkans, around here. Abroad, I feel maybe I don't know how to say it, 10 times more safe. I feel crazy safe compared to the US. Way more safe. Even with sketchy stuff going on. Yeah. Like, and even just all around, just the vibe, man. Like, even if some crazy stuff going on, people, they have like a nicer family life a lot. They're more friendly. They have their home culture. There's not as much political, just God, people beefing and stuff. There's one thing I noticed for sure. Being 3 years abroad, I feel like something's lifted off my shoulders in comparison to being in the U.S., which is supposedly, the richest country in the world. Everyone should be happy, man. Why are people fighting and mad all the time? I don't know. That's just one thing I noticed. So the Albanian thing, they have hearts of gold, man, deep down. Even the tough guys. Yeah, they got this old code of conduct, hospitality, and
yeah. About respect and loyalty. They're very big on respect and loyalty, and if you double cross them, then that's when you got problems. But if you don't, they'll treat you nice.
Yeah. They've been through a lot too. Yeah,
and I like the fact that their culture, both from Italians, from Italy, and Albanians, right? They have
close by.
They have moral principles that they live by. That are very great to live by. I mean, I would love to live by those standards. I live by them myself, but that's one of the things. They're very loyal. They're very they're all about trust and respect. And if you double cross them, that's when you have a problem. Other than that, they're great people.
Yeah, man. You're right. So yeah, I don't know what else were we talking about? Oh, YouTube. Trying to have a vlog. Trying to do that kind of stuff. Hey, man, it's not as easy as it seems, man, with watching these people, man. I've been documenting my whole time on Facebook, Instagram, doing a little YouTubes, but yeah, it's kind of like a saturated field a little bit. And if you don't have like really, oh, my light went off. Sorry about that. If you don't have like really good editing skills, you need time to edit. You need to figure things out. A lot of people that you see on TV, they have a bunch of people working for them, working with them, like a producer and someone editing for them. And I thought right from the get-go, I was like, all right, I'm just going to jump in Thailand from the first stop. I was on this beach island. It was beautiful. I was just like, I had this whole idea. I was like, I'm going to make a YouTube. I'm going to do this whole thing. And then when I got around to thinking about it and putting it together, I was like, man, this is kind of crazy to... It's not what it seems, man. So I'm just doing my thing, yeah.
Well, Ray, to be honest with you, no. He's, he operates more of like our producer, and he's like really good with the videos and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So a lot of like video clips and all that stuff, he does a lot of, and he does a really good job of it.
You guys got good teamwork, yes.
It's important. We started this podcast right around the time that you left for, and where we are now toward where we were before, we've come a long way.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
That if you think about it this way, man, technology is so amazing because
look at us, yeah, talking
Dallas, Texas, and still be able to do the podcast.
Yeah, Saranda, Albania, man, the Albanian Riviera. Technology has a lot of benefits. Imagine trying to do this kind of thing like even 10 years ago, but like in the 70s or something, when you're traveling, trying to talk to your family. We're talking on video, man. It's like the Jetsons, the future, man. It's crazy. All across the world.
If you think about it, like, how Hollywood kind of gives you like the heads up on technology. Like,
yeah.
I was watching movies 15, 20 years ago that they had these things already in place in the movie. And then eventually,
like Minority Report, stuff like that.
Yeah, and then it became available to the public. I think that
I like that kind of stuff.
Like the government develops things and then it gives it to us like 20 years later and shit. They like in little doses. You know what I mean? I like
that, man. All right, let me think real quick. Let's do a rundown of the countries. All right. I lived in 45 cities over this time. So really, you could talk about countries, but a lot of times, like specific cities are so much different from each other. Like, look at America in itself. I said moving to New York was like moving into a different country for me. Like, it was so much different than the Bay Area. But all right, let's think here though. Thailand. I stayed there for like 3 months, something like that, 2 months. Thailand. Then I went to Cambodia. Ooh, Cambodia was crazy, man. Talk about interesting history. Bad war. They had like a genocide there that was super sad. But they have all the Angkor Wat. They have these old temples and cool stuff. Nice people. All right, so then Cambodia. Then I went up north, south to north, Vietnam. Amazing. We just talked about, oh man, pho soup. Pho, P-H-O, the soup.
Yeah, soup. Oh my God, I know.
It's so much better in Vietnam. It's 1,000,000 times better, man. It tastes nothing like it.
It's more authentic. I mean,
here that is so good. Here
in Texas. Again? What's it called?
So
there's a lot of Vietnamese in Texas. Yeah.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you guys. What was it called?
Pho. It's called. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So like, what it is now?
Pho, like that pho.
P-H-O. Yeah.
What it is that it's raw beef, then sliced, and what you do is you put it in soup, and the soup cooks the meat.
Oh, it's so good, man.
Wow.
And it's
noodles, veggies. Yeah.
No, you gotta if you could get some pho in New York. It might not be as good, but get you some pho is so good, bro.
So I'm fixing my light here, guys. Sorry. So yeah, the food was. Each place has its own good food, but Vietnam was something special, man. And then I jumped over to Laos, which I really did a disservice, man. I should have stayed there longer. I got to go back there. But then I went into northern Thailand, which is completely different than southern Thailand. Southern Thailand, Bangkok, is a little bit more touristy, more. Yeah, I don't know, kind of scummy in a lot of ways, man. There's some weird stuff going on in Thailand that we don't need to get into that. This is a family show. But let's just say a lot of tourists go to Thailand to be kind of scumbags, man. I'll tell you the truth, man. Hey, I'm not hating. Do you? I saw some weird stuff there. But anyways, I went to northern Thailand, which was dope. That was my favorite area of Thailand, far north. Chiang Mai, up in the mountains with the hill tribes, hanging out with the different tribes of people. And then I jumped down to Malaysia and Indonesia, man, and Singapore. So those three countries are in the south of Southeast Asia, a bunch of islands down here. I don't know the map, you can see it, the orange. And I absolutely love it there, man. Malaysia is one of my favorite countries. And Borneo, especially, where they got the rainforest, and it's like a mix of people because it used to be a British place. So like in the 1800s, a bunch of people from India and China went there to work. So now their descendants still live there. So it's a mix of people, Malays, Chinese Malays, and people from southern India, like India. So they all have their neighborhoods and they all get along together. And the mix of food Malaysia, oh man. And then Indonesia is really cool. That was interesting because a lot of places in Indonesia, they're like very it's the biggest Muslim country in the world, Indonesia. Did you know that?
Hey, Raymond, real quick.
Yeah, okay.
A lot of Americans have a
question.
A lot of Americans think that like those markets out there like are very unsanitary. Is that correct, or is it?
Oh man,
is it pretty well like controlled?
No, man. Sometimes not really, man. Some places in Southeast Asia, Europe a little bit more, but yeah, man. Some place like in the capital of Cambodia, man. In the markets and restaurants, there's like rats running around. It's nasty, man. It's rough. And one time in Thailand, I got some like a guy with a little motorbike cart. I was like drinking. It was a bad 24 hours. Let's just say that, man. But that's normal.
You think United Nations should step in and like kind of like have more of a health hazard situation over there? Like, you know, go over there and like implant like certain standards that they need to live by in the markets? Yeah, maybe, man. A lot of the markets are cool though. That you just see it every now and then. I feel like they could work on some other stuff for like in Southeast Asia. You see a lot of kids with a lot of poverty, man. Like they're like street kids running around. That's something I wish they could fix. That was pretty rough to see. And then homeless
kids. And then yeah, I don't know how to explain it. Just the poverty is really bad. And when you see the kids and they have like no shoes and they're begging, and that was pretty rough. And then the environment out there, man. I don't know what it is. They throw plastic. There's plastic everywhere. One time I was swimming in the beach in Indonesia. It was freaking beautiful. A bunch of waves came in. All of a sudden, I was covered in plastic bags and garbage, man. I was like, what is happening? It was disgusting. Yeah, they need to work on that. But then third most was the markets. They could improve the markets. Yeah. All right, so I was in Indonesia, and then I skirted out Singapore right to Berlin, Germany in 2019. And I started roaming around Europe. And yeah, man, that's where I've been ever since. I went to the UK, London. That was kind of like a popular spot, but I've been going to some more obscure countries like Poland, Croatia, Romania, Bulgaria, Naples, Italy. You know, most people go to Florence. I went to Naples. Oh, I love Naples. Oh, man.
See about Romania and the whole Dracula, you know.
Yeah, man. I was going to go there, but plans changed because of, you know, this past year, but that's an area called Transylvania of Romania, and I heard it's beautiful. I didn't get up there, man. I was in the south area of Romania, but that's a cool culture. They speak an interesting language, actually, that's related to Spanish. It's a Romance language.
A lot of people don't know that Dracula was...
You want to meet Count Dracula over there.
He was a real person, though. And Dracula.
Yeah, Vlad the Impaler. Yeah, man.
He was a real person.
Chris would like to meet him.
Yeah, he was crazy, man. It's a little different than the movie and the story, you know, but he was a crazy guy. He fought for Romanian independence against the Turkish when the Ottoman Empire got big. Speaking of that, Albania also did that in a lot of countries down here. That's one thing, yeah, I was saying the history. Just learning about what the people and the culture in general went through, not just over the last 100 years or something like how you think about New York or like, oh man, the Civil War was 150 years ago. Over the last hundreds of years, thousands of years, you go back to the Roman Empire times, and before that, you see the progression and just fit the story together. It's one of my favorite parts of traveling, hands down. So Romania, yes, he was a real person. 1400s, Vlad the Impaler was Vlad Dracula inspiration. You don't want to know why his name was Impaler either.
Well, listen, I heard that,
what's up, guys? What's up?
Part of the fictional character, right? The Dracula, the one that like sucks your blood. And
yeah.
Sacrifice people and use their blood as sacrifice. So that comes actually from a real scenario.
Yeah,
in
man.
the movie, he takes people's blood out, right? And he sucks it to continue to live. He used to do that in real life too. Like he would drain people, like he would sacrifice them, in the middle of crowds and like drain them out, like.
Yes,
coming out. Yeah,
you're right. You've heard about this. Yeah, he had this nasty thing where he would put people on stakes and just not just one person, but hundreds of people, enemy soldiers, and drain all their blood out of their body and let them sit there. That's why his name's the Impaler, man. That's what you're talking about. Where that comes from? It's crazy. Yeah, history is crazy, but Romania was cool. I do want to go back there. That was a dope run. What can I say? Hey, rest in peace, DMX, man. DMX. I wanted to bring that up. I know you New York guys love DMX.
Man, his new album Exodus 17 is coming out, man. I can't.
Oh, they got some songs that they put together. Nice.
And, DMX before he died, he was on the up and up.
Yeah, man.
People said that this was the happiest he's ever been.
Yeah.
And then one of his last interviews he did on Drink Champs, he was vibrant. You saw a different.
Yeah, the energy. Yeah.
Energy was different, and I've been waiting for his album to come out for the last 2 years. It's finally gonna be here in the next couple of days.
Nice.
A track called Bath Salts that I really want to hear. That's got Jay-Z and Nas on it.
Whoa,
to be honest with you, that track's got probably the top 3 rappers of all time on it, man.
Yeah, it does.
That's
man.
gonna be an album that it's gonna go crazy, man.
Posthumous release, they call that. Yeah, man. Rest in peace, DMX, man. That was crazy. I know he's right there in Yonkers near Bronx, man. All you guys love him out there.
I'm typing up in Dallas, Texas, man, when I wanted to go to Yonkers because I didn't live that far away from Yonkers.
Yeah, man.
A 5-minute drive from me, man. I would have went to the hospital because I was a real DMX fan. One of my favorite tracks of all time is "Slipping and Falling."
That's a great one.
Every time I'm
falling, I can't get up. Yeah.
I listen to the beginning of that track, and it's like it lets me know that hey, this is life. It is what it is.
You got to make the most of it. Yeah. Slipping and fall. Yeah. I was, especially his first 2 albums, man. I was big into those, and I drifted off into other hip underground stuff. But yeah, big respects. 5th best-selling rapper of all time. I learned that. That's amazing, man. 5th best-selling. I can't talk, man. It's a Rocky.
Wait, I want to ask.
He dropped basically 3 albums in less than 2 years too.
3 albums, yeah.
Yeah, man. He's a legend. R.I.P.
In 1 year he did 2. Like he released It's Dark and Hell is Hot.
Yeah. 98, 99, right back to back. Something like that.
And then in December he had another double album that came out. So he did 3 albums in 1 year. 3 albums in 1 year. So he had the one that came in May, and then in December he had a double album. It's crazy.
Flesh of My Flesh, and then he dropped, and then it was X the next year.
But being in New York, you guys were there. I'm jealous of that, man, because I was a huge New York rap fan and rap hip hop in general. You guys lived there.
He was older. I was too young when that happened. I was only
okay.
And I got into rap late.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So
You're young.
I was 14, 15 years old.
Yeah, man. I was 19, 18, something.
So when I got into rap, it was Jay-Z. He
was big,
2001. That's when I really got into hip hop. And the Locks, when they came out with,
No, I know you like the locks. We used to talk about that. I feel like I'm back in the market, man, talking. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. I mean,
This is Kiss of Death, Kiss the Game Goodbye, and Styles P's Gangsta and the Gentleman that's when I started really getting into the music. That was around the time. And then
R.I.P.
when 50 Cent dropped, Get Rich or Die Trying, man. That's when
at a young age, Chris Ryder wasn't interested in music. He was killing little animals in the park.
I was not killing animals.
And they say you gotta watch out for people. I saw a dude in a kid in Queens Park killing a bird one time. I said, I gotta get away from this kid, man. This shit was crazy. But yeah, I had a podcast before about rap and hip hop, kind of a little bit, and big respect. Yeah, it was a radio show and a podcast where you could, download it later. But yeah, it was live on the air on the radio where I was living in Portland, and that was a lot of fun. And I remember you were asking me about podcasting right before you guys started the show, and I was like, yeah, talking with you about it. It was cool because they had the studio set up, so I just had to go down in the studio, hit record, I had all the equipment. So what you guys have created is really dope without having like your own, like a studio where you go in and yeah.
John Tavar, who's not on the show today, we used to do the show in his living room.
Yeah, right in the living room.
Studio there, and I like the Zoom. The Zoom is cool, but I still miss that interaction of like
live. Yeah,
I miss that live interaction.
Like regular live.
And Nelson used to go at it with each other all the time. So he used to always like start his shit, and then I would get in.
Yeah, man.
So I missed that a little bit.
I know what you mean. I used to do phone interviews, and the phone interviews were never the same compared to when I would bring like 2 or 3 or even one person down to the studio. Sometimes we'd have like 5 on at once, and it's a good.
And then to have a studio audience there, sometimes we used to have people there. We used to have a lot of people there. So
really, oh, that's dope, man. That's cool, man. Nice.
I miss that little dynamic of talking shit, because man, me and Nelson, like, we talk shit on the Zoom, but it's not the same when we're in front of each other, because we're both Sagittarius, so we have that same similar
Sagittarius.
Mind. So I know what he's thinking before, even before. I'm going more closer to Scorpio, so I have like Scorpio tendencies.
That's me, man. Scorpio, yeah.
Nelson's more of a pure Sag than me, though. So
I like that.
It's Mario.
I know what he's thinking before he even does.
That's cool. That's cool. That connection, man. I like that, man. Anyway, so where were we? You guys like the country? So I was in Germany, spent a lot of time in Poland, went down to Croatia, which was amazing. A lot of people don't know that beautiful sea there and everything. Cool vibes in Croatia. Then Bulgaria, then Romania, and then for some reason I've always wanted to go to UK. It's like the English speaking, the history and everything. So I went out to London and went through England, went up to Manchester. The bad thing about that, it's a little pricey there, man. The English pound, it's more than the dollar, like a lot more usually. A place I really liked though was Scotland. Oh man, Scotland. I know you like your Scotch, Chris. Oh man, you would love Scotland. Oh man, the Scotch in Scotland. I tasted every different variety you could ever think of.
You ever go to like the rural areas in Scotland where they have like the castles and all that?
Yeah, I went to a few areas like that. I mostly was in the big cities a lot.
At all?
I've been to a castle. Yeah, for sure.
Are they spooky?
Go to the Johnny Walker factory?
Yeah, no, man, I didn't get there. The people were telling.
I want to go to the Johnny Walker factory, man.
Yeah, you got to go there. I went to a few distilleries.
If you know me, you know that I love my favorite alcohol of all time.
All time, okay.
Johnny Walker Black Label. You bring it to anywhere I'm at. I can't help myself. I love it, but I always want to go to the actual factory to where they make it, man. And
it's amazing.
And you went to Scotland where Johnny Walker is.
No, the distilleries are amazing. I went to a lot. The Scottish people, though, they're really into their own local towns brand, though, man. So I'm sure the I'm not sure what city it's in. I'm sure it's amazing, but what they're into, and if you are talking like, oh, I'm from America, they'll be like, no, you don't know about Scotch, man. They'll really school you all the ins and outs, the 5 different regions and more, and the history, and what they love is a single malt, so it's all made at the same time.
And he's drinking Johnny Black. Don't let him drink too much because he might turn into a killer.
Hey, cheers, man. Cheers. Gazur. So, yeah, that was dope out there in Scotland, man. So, like, Johnny Walker is a blend. That's a blended whiskey. So, it's a lot of different kinds put together.
It was 2 days ago, and look at it already.
Yeah, you're a hardworking man. You deserve it. You're a hard worker.
I could afford Johnny Walker now. Listen, I told my wife already, listen, keep it away from me. Because I'll kill a half a gallon a week.
Oh, man, you're a hard-working man. You're a family man. You deserve it, man. Do you out there? And I hope you travel to Scotland and go to the Johnny Walker distillery.
Buy a liter.
Does Johnny Walker reduce or increase the urge to kill?
I'm not gonna lie.
I'll
buy a liter. And I realized it was a mistake. I should have bought the half gallon.
I'm looking this up for you right now. That's what I'm looking up. All right. The distillery, the Cardew Distillery. Okay, that's the city. Cardhu is a setting in the heart of Speyside, Scotland. Cardew is also home to the world-famous Johnny Walker blend. And visitors to the distillery can experience both the history of the single malt and the story of the renowned blend. You got to go there, man. Cardew, Scotland, in the Speyside. That would be fun. But yeah, I went to the main cities, and then I went over to Ireland. And
that's what I was going to ask you. Is there
a
big rivalry between Ireland and Scotland? Do they really don't like each other?
No, they like each other. Both of them, they don't like England, man. They hate England. Ireland and Scotland have a big rivalry with England because of the history, and yeah, man, it's serious. Learning about that, I was real surprised because a lot of crazy stuff has happened in that history, even pretty recently, man. But that's where I got locked down in Ireland, and I ended up staying there unexpectedly. And a lot of people, travelers, they bailed, man, and went back home and stuff. But I was like, I already work online. I can figure this out. I'm going to roll with the punches. Stayed in Ireland, watched Netflix, The Last Dance, Jordan, and movies and stuff, and drank a bunch of Irish whiskey, got through it. Euro travel opened to Italy last summer. So then I went to Italy, Naples, Rome, and Palermo, Sicily. Oh, Palermo, Sicily was dope. My girl, her great-grandparents are from out there, so we wanted to go find the areas where her family's from, which was really cool. And then things started getting crazy again, so Albania was the next choice. It was right here, open. Americans get 1-year visa to come here, man. Most places as American, you could stay maybe 3 months or 1 month only, and you got to go. So that's another reason why I stayed, and plus the money. This is $20, just about $2,000. So it's almost matched for you. Just add a couple of zeros. This is $50, $5,000. So and they love America out here. This is $10, $2. So it's easy to convert in your head. Well, that's another crazy thing about traveling, trying to figure out the prices. Woo!
Yeah, the currency exchange, right? It's kind of it varies depending on what you go to. I was gonna ask a question. Is it true in Ireland, everywhere you go to, they serve alcohol? Is alcohol everywhere, in every storefront? Is that true? Or is that a myth?
Yeah, they love their drinking out there, man. But what they like there is the pubs. It's not the store. The pub. Yeah, there's a pub on every block, and the whole community goes there all the time, and they, but yeah, there's a lot of liquor stores too. It's just part of the culture, man. It's actually kind of cool. You know, it's more like
You hit up Amsterdam in your time of Europe? Amsterdam?
what's that?
Did
No,
you
I
hit
haven't been there yet. Yeah, I haven't been there yet, man. Sometime that place sounds interesting. One thing that's for people that don't know Euro travel, I learned this the hard way. There's this thing called the Schengen zone, which is like European Union countries, a good amount of them, like 27 countries, something like that. And Americans can only stay 3 months, and then you have to leave for 3 months before you could come back. So
Why is that? That's weird.
yeah, it's just something that's more recent with the European Union. So
Really?
like you can't, you know, if you wanted to do like a Euro trip over like a long time, you know, you wanted to go to Germany, France, Spain, Italy, all these countries are in it. Greece, Sweden, Poland, all these countries are in this zone, and it's for them they can move around freely in the zone. There's no borders. If you're part of one of those countries, that's the reason they did it. But for other people, it's difficult, like if you're a long-term traveler. So yeah, I was like chilling in Poland, and I learned about this, and I was like, oh shit, we gotta go, man. We gotta leave for 90 days before. You know, I don't want any visa problems, you know. So, anyways, yeah, there's a lot of things to look into when you're traveling. Visa, currency exchange, which is good with the dollar, the cheap, you know, places that have been through a lot of poverty, war, have some tough times, like Albania, like Laos, like Vietnam. The people work hard there, though, man. But one thing that's good for travelers is the money is worth a lot. Like I could go to a nice restaurant here, like for like $7, something like that, maybe 10 for like a really nice meal. Yeah, something that in New York would be like 30, you know, $35.
Cost of living, I could imagine, is
cost of living. That was one of my things, man. When I moved, New York is on a whole nother level. But where I was living, even in Oregon, every month the lease goes up, $1,300, $1,500, $1,600, $1,700 a month for a 1-bedroom. I'm just like, what am I doing, man? I'm like, hey, I respect everyone that's still there, but it got to me, man. I was like, I gotta break out of this. I'm paying these bills, and why? I don't know. It kind of the places I want to live to are all the cool spots that have like the good food, the chill times.
I got a apartment.
Texas.
Yeah. That in New York will be like over 2,000, and I pay $1,300 a month.
Yeah. See,
with a balcony and a great view. And I'm
that's amazing, man.
I could go right now to a nice restaurant and be like, you know what? I'm gonna spend some money and be all right because I don't, you know, it's not gonna be.
You have to worry about that. Yeah.
In New York, you know, I was, you know, making decent money, but you know, I had no money to my name and I couldn't enjoy life. I couldn't because New York City is so expensive, and even the apartment that I was in wasn't a shitty apartment, but it was small. Compared to my apartment now, my bedroom is huge. My bedroom is gigantic.
I've heard that about Texas. Yeah, man. California is high too.
The misconception was
San Francisco's the most expensive place to live in the United States.
Yeah, it was very hard to. Actually, Hawaii is the most expensive.
Oh yeah, more than San Fran?
Is it? Oh shit.
Yeah,
because they have to import everything. I think. Yeah, they import all their stuff.
State, and then it's California, and then it's New York.
All right.
Yeah. As a state, yeah.
As a state. So like you got to make like I think $36 an hour or something.
So Raymond.
What's up, Nelly? Yeah, what's up, man?
So for somebody looking to become a world traveler such as yourself, what would be your advice to them or message?
Just get out of your comfort zone, man. That's the first one. Just all the things that are holding you back. Even things, you know, you were talking about like, oh man, the Vietnam War happened, or, you know, something sketchy I heard about, you know, some story about Albanians, or I heard that it's crazy in this country, you know, that it's not sanitary in China or something. When you actually go, you get over those thoughts, man, and you just go for it. You might experience something you never expected that might be kind of negative, but you get this whole just view in your head where you're just like, damn, this is nothing what I expected, man. This is all that stuff I was worried about. You know, maybe you might be worried about something else, but it's just it unveils something else to you. So that's the biggest thing, man. Like I remember, I have friends in California and New York, man, that they're so. That's why I think it's dope that you moved to Texas. I have friends in California and New York, anywhere in the U.S. People I met from anywhere in the U.S. They have this thing where they're like, you know, I get it. You have your neighborhood, you have your family, you have your friends, place you feel comfortable, but they won't even go to the next town, like 10 miles away, like hardly ever. Like they're so like I'm not going to name names, but I had a friend in the Bronx that he didn't even want to go down to Manhattan. I was like, man, your kids would like this robot thing. And he was like, oh man, I don't want to leave the hood in the Bronx. I was like, you just got to jump on the train, man. It's right there. Your kids would like it. So that's one of my big advice. Get out of your comfort zone. It's okay. Go out of your neighborhood. You might miss it. That was one thing that I give as advice. Yeah.
I have friends like that. They don't leave the borough of Manhattan. They don't leave it at all.
It's crazy.
They go to the Bronx, they go to Brooklyn, Queens, they go nowhere else. If it's not in Manhattan, they're not going.
Yeah, it's interesting how that happens.
Because people are like really like they're like, oh, we don't know if we want to ask Chris. He wants to go to Dallas, Texas, and because he's such a New Yorker, he's not gonna want to leave his comfort zone. That was one of my my fears. Was like, you know, I make this decision to go to Dallas, and then I'm not gonna like it. And then all of it, you know, and then I was like, you know what? I was in Texas for about 3 months before I went back to New York, and I'm like, well, you know what? I'm probably gonna like miss home.
You do, yeah. There's no way that you don't.
And then I was like, I'm good. I never want to come back to New York. I was in Texas. I was like, this is my home now.
Yeah, that's my number one advice is, you know, you can miss home, you can miss things and your family, all that stuff, but you gotta get over that if you want to be a world traveler. Really go for it long term. There's a lot of different forms of income you could do. That's my next advice. You know, that's a whole different thing where you figure out how to work online. A lot of people are life coaches. I don't know how they get into this, but they work with people that are in business and they like talk, you know, they like have meetings, like kind of like a therapist in a way, and they get paid big, man. I met people in Indonesia, Americans and people from Europe, and there's a lot of weird little jobs like that. You know, people house sit, people do coding, they house sit, they do coding online. They do what are some other things people do? A lot of people teach English. A lot of people are tutors. A lot of people do like weird trading, you know, Bitcoin and stock market. I don't know a lot about that stuff, but people get by on that. So yeah, a source of income. But my next point about that was you don't have to be balling rich to just go for it. Everyone thinks, people were like, Ray, how are you doing this? You must have tons of money. You're crazy. I didn't even have, before I took off, I saved for a little bit, you know, like to make sure I wasn't hurting when I got abroad, but it's not like I needed a ton of money. It's just kind of the same thing. You pay for the month, you pay your transportation, your food. And then you move on to the next place. You have some fun. You buy your drinks. It's just like living normally, but you're moving. And it's not like you're gonna, you know, make an empire and get rich, but you don't need a ton of money.
That's the road.
Yeah, life on the road. You obviously don't want to. Yeah, but man, life on the road, the nomad life. Yeah, you don't need a ton of money, especially countries where the dollar is good, and there's a lot of them out there. Where the biggest thing is the flight. The biggest thing is the flight. $200 a month. I paid right when I touched down in Thailand for right on the beach. $200. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah.
I went to a casino in Oklahoma, and I looked at my brother because he was here for a week and a half just visiting, and I looked at my brother and I was like, "We're in Oklahoma, bro."
Yeah.
Who would have thought two Spanish dudes from Spanish Harlem, New York City, who city except to Jersey or Connecticut or
Northeast and
Oklahoma. It blew my mind at that moment. I'm like, I'm in Oklahoma. And
Gazoo to that. That's a cool story, man.
for me, it's like right now I'm just trying to get my bearings in Texas. It's difficult
Yeah.
to store. Um,
Yeah, that's amazing.
Gonna be kind of tied down, but next year I want to go to Louisiana. I want to go to Oklahoma.
Right there. Yeah. You can even travel close by.
Because I passed by Memphis, Tennessee. I was in when I drove from New York to Texas. It took me like 4
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
we probably the best 2 stretches of my
Yeah.
I think the three best stretches was Virginia. Virginia was beautiful. The farmland in
Virginia.
Virginia was beautiful.
Wow.
So
From to Nashville, the drive to Nashville, Tennessee was beautiful. And then
That's cool, man.
guys, so when you get off from Memphis, you cross into Arkansas. Dude, it was like Courage the Cowardly Dog for like a good 2 hours.
Spider, when you went to Memphis, did you have your blue suede shoes on?
Nah.
This guy with the jokes.
If I had more time, I wanted to stay in Memphis for like a day.
Yeah, they have barbecue. Ooh.
I've been to Austin, like in Texas. I've been to Austin.
Yeah, that's a cool spot.
I was actually gonna go to San Antonio, and I wanted to go to Houston when I was out here, but fortunately I couldn't do it. But I want to go to Austin Wednesday, and then I want to go drive to San Antonio and then come back, or drive to Houston and come back.
Yeah, man. Even little exploring like that. Everyone.
I definitely, and New Orleans is right there.
Right there. Yeah.
I want to go to the Grand Canyon, which is not too far away.
Yeah, Arizona.
New Mexico. I want to go to Oklahoma City, see how Oklahoma is. And it's just
do it, man.
Like it's. I'm in a point where I can do these things, and I'm not afraid because for New Yorkers, and Nelson could probably tell you, the toughest thing for us is that we feel like we people who were born and raised in New York City.
It's different, yeah.
This is the greatest city in the world. We don't have to leave. It becomes a prison for us. So we don't get to see the world.
Interesting. Yeah.
And we don't get to see the world. So for me, the biggest fear was like, I'm going to miss the bodega on the corner. Or I'm going to miss going on the subway. Or I'm going to miss the camaraderie because, the culture in New York City is bar none.
The lingo, with the people, yeah.
It's nothing compares to it. But
no, I agree with that. Yeah.
For me, the biggest point was to break out of that. And the fact that I took this chance to come to Dallas, I thought I was going to hate it, but I love it here. I love it in Dallas, man. Dallas, it has its people that are annoying, but it's like, this is New York. New York is the same thing, but
yeah, man.
For me, it's just that adjustment period. And, I'm a part of a culture that's aggressive. So like nobody talks like me out here. Nobody. I'm the only one who talks like me out here. If there's people who talk like me, it's it's rare that I'll meet them. But for me, that's the biggest adjustment period. Is tell us, being aggressive with somebody and because in New York a lot of like back and forth shit.
I never even been there, man. So you've been at some places I never even been.
So and
well,
then
traveling, Raymond, have you ever gotten like like a snobby like foreigner? I mean, well, obviously you're the foreigner when you go to their country.
Yeah.
But like, oh, look at this Yankee, this American gringo. Like, what is he doing? I hate America. Have you ever gotten that like some like bashing of Americans going on? Like, oh, you're from America, you guys suck. Get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah. Not here. Not recently, but in some places, Italy, I saw people tagging on the wall, "Fuck USA" and stuff like that. And
really?
Yeah, they tag it. They're
get out of here, Yankee Doodle.
Yeah, man. It wasn't just me. I think it was just the culture as a whole, and it's just how it. I think it wasn't me personally or people personally, but how it looked for them. People abroad. Looking back at the past 3 years of the U.S., you guys look kind of crazy, bro. You guys on the media and everything, it might not be a little skewed, but it looked even to me, I was like, oh shit, what the hell's going on over there, man? Past 3-4 years.
The perceptions in other country of Americans is that they were very snobby and we think we know it all. That we're the best.
Yeah, loud. Yeah, loud.
You know, because we're in America. You know, we're in the United States of America. They tend to think that we're very like snobby in that sense because we come from the richest country in the world, I guess, or the superpower.
Yeah,
I kind of tend to look down on us and be like, oh, America, you know, you guys are trash. You guys, whatever. You guys are rude and obnoxious.
I've seen some obnoxious Americans. Sometimes I hear the accent and I'm like, oh shit, man, I got to get out of here, man. I don't want to do because a lot of people traveling. A lot of times they have this mindset.
Karen.
Yeah, a lot of people traveling there. Karen, yeah, of course, I've heard that. Yeah, a lot of people
in like Europe, like bugging out in the store trying to get a return on an item that she's purchased.
But nobody gives a fuck about it.
I've seen it.
You seen it before?
I've seen it.
Nobody gives a fuck about you, Kevin.
Can I speak to your manager right now?
Like, speak to your manager. Yeah. They don't give a fuck about that. Yo, you go to like the Spanish country, you're like, excuse me, can I speak to your manager? They're gonna leave.
That's true.
They were like, and manager went to eat lunch.
Yeah.
The guy was very rude to me, and I
said, man,
money here. And they're like, okay,
yeah.
Give us a.
It's not that. Yeah, no, it's not. It's not the manager. What I don't like that I've seen Americans do, and some other travelers, Australians, and I don't want to call anyone out, but people from the UK, Australia, and America, especially. I don't know why. Just something about they go into another country and they think like I own the place. Like you need to pamper me. You're here for me. I'm paying you all this money. And it's like a real dehumanizing thing, man. I see it, and they're like treating the locals and the people at the restaurants and the resorts or whatever they're doing. They like expect so much, and I'm just like, don't do that, man. Don't do that. Like it's the worst when people do that.
That's the reason why they have that perspective of us, because a lot of Americans go to those countries and they all fancy smancy. They want like the utmost like respect for everything, and they think they own everything. And we go with like this privileged. We go with this privileged attitude to places, and you know, that to be bad for us because people look at Americans like, oh, you guys are
true.
You guys are snobby. You guys don't care about humans, you know, whatever.
Yeah, man, dehumanizing. It's like what did someone call it to me before? It's they call it neo-colonialism, where it's kind of like how they were back in the day. Yeah, like you need to do what I want. I'm in your country. I'm paying. You know, it's an ugly look, man. And you brought up resorts earlier, way back in this conversation. That drives me crazy, bro. I don't understand it. So sometimes I sneak into resorts just to use the pool or something. I don't stay at them, but I like go in and I'm sitting here, you know, I use the pool and get some drinks. But I see these people at resorts, and I've been to resorts. I've seen them all over the world, you know, Hawaii, Puerto Rico, Thailand, Croatia, Italy. And it doesn't matter where you are. They're all kind of the same. Yeah. They got the same setup. They got the pool, the restaurant, the rooms, the beach, the place for the kids. Yeah, all you can eat buffets. And I see people traveling, and they never leave the resort.
I have friends. I had a friend.
What are you doing?
I'm like, okay, so you went to Jamaica? Like, yeah, I went to Jamaica. I'm like, okay. So how were the Jamaican, the natives? He was like, I don't know. I just stayed in the hotel the whole time. Like, so what was the point of you wasting so much money?
You could be anywhere, man, and it's like this fear, and it comes with that snobbiness. It's like, oh my God, you know, maybe some areas might be a little sketchy, but come on, man, it's not that bad. Just get out of your comfort zone, like I said before. You don't need to stay in the resort the whole time. You don't need to have a fear of the culture you may not be familiar with. Just go out there, smile, be cool with people, use your senses. You don't want to get into sketchy situations. You know, people from New York, you guys know, you know, you could tell when something like, all right, I should probably go.
That's one thing about New York is we're very on point, and we it doesn't look
always
right.
Paranoid. Always,
we always know what. Yeah, we're always paranoid. We always know when something doesn't look right.
Always, we be like, yo, it's sketchy. Nah, I can't do that.
We're not.
Yeah, nah. Yeah, but
we born and raised in New York all our lives, so we we those places. We like, hold up, nah, ain't right now. And we always paranoid. We always think somebody's out to get us. We always think something sketchy. That's just the way we are. I don't care.
New Yorkers, no, yeah.
If you from New York, and we're not talking about anywhere but the city, the Bronx,
5 boroughs,
Queens, Brooklyn, Staten Island, we always think something sketchy. Always, never.
We're always on alert. Raymond, your time in as a world traveler, have you seen an American getting locked up abroad? Have you seen that?
Locked up abroad. No, I haven't seen that, man. But I've seen some Americans doing some kind of crazy stuff. You know, a lot of people they want to go to a country and just go crazy, party, man. And they get into with the drugs and the girls and sometimes Americans, you know, they're not lying. Sometimes we're a little loud and just like, yeah, I do it too, man. I had a few drinks, but not into that crazy stuff. So they're like in Thailand, and I've seen these guys fighting over a prostitute in Thailand. And I was like, you guys stop, man. Oh, man. But yeah, I haven't seen anyone straight up get arrested. No, I haven't seen that. But I've seen some crazy stuff with foreigners. Usually, yeah.
What's the weirdest food you consumed in your time traveling?
Oh, man.
You were like, oh, my God, but what the hell is this? But I'm going to eat it just to experience it.
Well, one can think of recently, Albania, they have the goat and sheep head, man. So
my God.
I love it because they don't waste any of the animal, but they grill it and they slice it in half for you. It's got the eyeballs and the tongue and everything in there. Most people would be like, but if you're a butcher, man, that's nothing for you. You've seen it all before. So, yeah, but
medical benefits though, the eating goat.
Yeah, the brains and it was so good, man. And it's like a real traditional.
I know you want to say a fucking comment right now when he said the butcher. Say
it. Yeah, no. I said what I was gonna say is you are more connected to the animal and to the old way of life that people abroad are more, man. That's what.
I actually sent Nell a picture of I had lamb heads. I used to break the whole lamb animals down. So I used to have the.
Yeah, you've seen it before. Yeah, they love that in Albania.
He would send me pictures of them from the butcher shop.
Yes, I think I've seen some of those pictures. Yeah, man. That's one I could think of recently. What's another one, man? I know I've tasted some crazy
monkey
stuff.
Brain?
No, they didn't have monkey brains. I heard they had monkey in Borneo, but I never tried. I remember Cambodia. I had
the poop coffee. The poop coffee.
Oh yeah, I did have that. Yeah. I was gonna say I had snakes, tarantulas, cockroaches, a bunch of stuff, but I did drink the poop coffee.
Where's it?
Kind of. So it's really expensive actually. It's like a luxury item. It's really weird. So they have this animal called a civet, and it goes around the coffee farms and it eats the fresh coffee beans that are like green, growing on the trees, and they wait for it to eat it, and it poops them out, and people go and collect it, and they clean them a little bit, and they say it's something in its digestive tract that changes the composition of the coffee and makes it like really strong with caffeine or something, and they roast it and they sell. It's like one of the world's most expensive coffees. Yeah, civet poop coffee. Forget what it's called. It has a specific name, but yeah, I tried that in Indonesia. It has an interesting flavor, but they clean it first. But yeah, it's kind of weird to think about. Just to think about it, yeah, that was a weird one.
So,
what's been Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Chris. Sorry.
No. What we're gonna say now?
No, I was gonna ask him a question, but go ahead. You go first.
No, because I wanted to ask him a question about like, okay, so what was in certain countries? What's the best he's ever had?
Oh man. The best food. Yeah.
What was the question that you had?
Well, I would say Malaysia has the best food. The mee noodle soup. So they have these things in Malaysia, Singapore too, that are like hawker. They call them hawker stands, and it's just all these little businesses all crammed together, and they have plastic chairs in the middle of this like big area, and just every single place is just this crazy, just amazing little family-owned business. Where it's just, oh man, I love Malaysian food and Singapore food, the hawker stands, and my favorite is the noodle soup.
Malaysia's the best food. Who had the best alcohol?
Oh man, the best alcohol. Scotland or Ireland. It's close between the two because of the whiskey. Scotland or Ireland, I would think. Yeah, for sure. In Asia, though, they had this weird alcohol like rice wine. It was really crazy, man. But it was interesting to try for sure. But best Scotland or Ireland, probably best alcohol.
Best people.
Ooh, best people.
Best what? Tea?
Best.
Best
people.
Oh.
Albania. Albania is the best people. Not just because I'm here right now. It's just they have this heart of gold, man. Like it comes from this ancient code of customs. It's called like a kanun. I don't want to mispronounce it, but it's called like a kanun. It's like thousands of years old, and it just passed down from generation to generation. And it's like this hospitality to strangers, this real friendliness. But they have some sketchy parts about it, like don't cross me, like you said, don't cross me, or you're gonna live. But that's part of the code. Yeah, that's part of the code. That's part of the code, and it's just it's so nice, man. And
they give you so much of them, like with all their heart, that when you betray them, it's like they want to fucking kill you, bro.
Never turn.
This is how you pay me back.
Never turn down a shot of Rocky. I'm gonna have another one. I learned my lesson early on. It doesn't matter what time of day it is. If it's 7 a.m., if it's 12 noon, if it's 9 at night. If someone in Albania offers you a shot of Rocky and you turn them down, they'll never forget. They'll never forget it. Yeah, they'll never forget it. They'll never treat you the same. I learned my lesson early on. This guy in this like little soup shack that was super cool with me the first day I went in there. And one day I was like, I'm running. I'm gonna do some jogging today. I don't want to drink right now, After that, he acted like he didn't speak any English. He never treated me the same, man. So, he never. It's stuff like that, though. The real, people would like they drop off food.
Evil guy, like the evil eye, like.
Yeah. This guy did take, or like, no, I'm good off the food. Like they're like, oh, I made this on my farm, this cheese. Please try it. And you're like, oh, I'm too full. I don't want it. They're like, what are you doing? They think helping others first, and if you don't take it like an American maybe would think like, what's this? What's this person trying to get off me? What deal are they trying to do? That's what instantly we think. But to them, it's not like that. They're like, it's more like just a hospitality, like help others. It's really interesting, man. Albania people are really cool for sure. So, and Gazur to Albania, Gazur. Hey, that's cheers.
What's your what are your expectations from here to 5 years as a world traveler?
Oh, that's a good one. So as traveling opens up, I don't want to go back to the U.S., man. I know I want to go back and see my mom and dad someday, but I want to make it at least 5 years. Like I said, for the next 5 years, I want to get better at video making, editing, researching, putting them out quicker. I started this thing called Buy Me a Coffee. That's kind of like Patreon, where people could if they like your stuff, they donate you a little money. And it's not about the money to me, man. It's just kind of like, I want people to be like, oh, what this guy's talking about and what he's doing is cool, man.
Yeah.
You got to grab, it's so hard to grab the attention of people nowadays. So I want to get better in that whole realm, man. I've been really trying with editing and having experiences. I want to do that. Plus, I want to move around more. Right now, it's not that easy. Can't move around. But I want to get back to Asia again. And I want to go to some different areas like Africa, the Middle East, Central Asia, like Kazakhstan, stuff like that.
Yeah. Have you done Egypt yet?
Egypt? No. Yeah. I've never been to Africa.
I want to do Egypt so bad. I want to go to the pyramids.
What was your next steps in the traveling bit? What were you going to do after?
Yeah, man. Right now, the plan is just to stay nearby in the Balkans. Just because traveling is not easy yet. Still not easy because of this last year and a half. I'm even lucky to move around how I have, man. A lot of people I know, you can't leave your house. I never had to experience that. Like I heard about stories in America and UK and other countries where you needed a slip to go outside and shit. So I'm lucky. Yeah.
Wasn't that bad?
Do they still have curfew hours over there in Albania or no?
Yeah, it was 8 p.m., but now it's 10 p.m. But
I think it's real low. That's why I couldn't.
Yeah, it's more. Yeah, it's chill right now. A lot of people. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to get into too specifics of this, but it's been hard to travel. I'm lucky to do what I have so far. I want to get back to Asia eventually. There's a few more places I want to go in Europe. I want to go to Africa and Middle East and Central Asia, but the internet, that's what I'm worried about. Because I have to have a high-speed internet. Albania has high enough speed that this is working right now.
Yeah.
Right? Video. So I need that for my work. A lot of places, man, like that I really would want to go, it's not guaranteed that they have that. So that's a big blockage of where I can go. And yeah. Macedonia is next. North Macedonia.
There's a few questions from the audience. They're asking.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you got a couple of fans out there, buddy.
Whoa!
How is it with vaccine and traveling? With vaccine, has that been an issue? Like, do you need to get vaccinated before you enter certain countries? Have you experienced that yet? Where you're like, oh, you can't come in here, Mr. Raymond, because you're a world traveler, but you're not vaccinated. Get out of here.
Well, at first, before the vaccines even came out, people were really tripping on me, and just everywhere, really. Talk about the American thing. Going into Italy, it was a big confusion. And I was like, no, I'm coming from Ireland. I'm not coming from America, because it was like America was looking crazy, and they got the perception like everyone in America has it and they're going to bring it here. So that was really crazy in the first place. But then the vaccines started coming out, and here it's not easy to get like other countries. So I haven't gotten it yet. But I've heard other people have that have recently came here from the States. And yes, it's a lot easier. Your places like Greece nearby, they're going to open up for only vaccinated people soon.
Oh shit! Really?
Like in one vaccinated Americans. I mean, vaccinated Americans could go there, which Americans pretty much haven't been able to go anywhere like the past year and a half. So yeah, that's a big thing with travel. A lot of countries they check, but when you go in, and the thing, I don't mind getting vaccinated. If it comes across me, I'll do it. But the thing I've never wanted to do, a lot of travelers have done, is they cross the border into the country and you got to quarantine for 14 days.
Oh shit! Wait, have you got it vaccinated yet?
I haven't. Yeah, no, it's not easily available here. Yeah, it's not like other countries. I might go to Serbia in like 3 something, because they have it free there for Americans for some reason, which is close by in Serbia.
You're breaking
But
up.
here it's only for Albanians, so I don't know. I hope that doesn't cause any issues. Oh, they come up. Yeah, man. You need to travel, especially from U.S. It's probably better to have that than not to have that.
Yeah, man.
For sure.
I got a cool vaccinated song I want to play for you guys. You guys check it out.
Okay, cheers to that.
Moderna, I got the vaccine up inside my Pfizer. Moderna, I got the vaccine up inside my Pfizer. Moderna, I got the vaccine up inside my Pfizer. Yeah. I got that vaccine and I'm feeling just right.
Yeah.
Vaccine in my motherfucking day.
Oh yeah, unvaccinated fellas out there.
Got that vaccine.
He's mad high. He's mad fire though. That dude's mad fire.
Oh man, they kill him.
He's like a comedy. He's like a really good producer. He does a lot of comedy.
I've heard that guy. Yeah, he looks familiar. Yeah, man. Yeah, travel though. You don't want to get 14-day quarantine, and if you need a vaccine, sometimes you need a test and a vaccine to get to certain countries. The 14-day quarantine is bad though, because the government in a lot of countries they tell you where you need to go for that 14 days. So a lot of times they put you in an expensive place. I've heard stories people lost over 14 days, like $3,000 you had to pay to stay in the government-sponsored quarantine hotel. Yeah, don't get in that situation. No. The government, because you want to travel into the country, they charge people that. Yeah, it's really sketchy.
Have you had
Don't
issues
get caught up
like,
in that.
have you had issues when traveling to other countries? Not only with the COVID, but there's certain places that you need certain shots, like, and you're like,
Oh yeah.
you go into certain parts of Africa, you need to get shots before you go there.
Yeah, man. Southeast Asia, malaria shots and pills that I got. I didn't want to get. They got a ton of mosquitoes, man. It's hot there. You talk about New York humidity. It's like New York humidity times 2 in the summer every day, even in February. In Southeast Asia, all year long. So they got crazy mosquitoes and they have some malaria and different diseases. So yeah, before this whole thing, I made sure to get malaria, a couple other ones, dengue fever, I think, and yeah. Some countries, I don't know about requirement though. I kind of just did it on my own. I asked like a doctor. I'm planning on traveling these places. What do you recommend? But yeah, I think you're right. In some places in Africa, I haven't been to Africa yet. Someday I want to go to Senegal, some other areas.
You went to Malaysia.
You have
to get certain shots and pills, right?
Malaysia, yeah. I don't think the government. I don't think they require it for you to go in though.
You did it as a precaution, just to be like.
Yeah. Malaria, especially. I heard.
I know in Africa, there's certain places you can't go into without certain shots. You have to have an immunization record of it. And before you go in there, there's a lot of contaminated things over there, like water wise and stuff like that, and also
talk about the water.
You yourself could bring stuff to them that they don't know about too. That's another thing.
That's true.
In Africa, they have a lot of tribes live out there still, and they're not immune to stuff that we bring in. You know what I mean? So that's the reason why they do it as well, to protect their own.
That's another thing, man. Clean water. You guys in New York. And some places in the U.S., not everywhere, but you guys don't know how, right from the tap, that you guys got pretty good water in New York because of the whole system that comes down from the Catskill Mountains and they made in the 60s. Some of the best water in the world. Places like Ireland and Rome, but some places, Southeast Asia, here in Albania, you can't drink the tap water, man. It's got metals in it. It got diseases. It's got chemical runoff. And when you're in another country, you're like, what
the hell?
Yeah, you can take a shower, but you take it for granted. You're like, damn, it's kind of crazy to think about. Is
it widely available though? Like water, to get water, is it widely available? Like if you go to the store and
it is, yeah, man, it is. I try to get big jugs. I don't want to get like a million plastic bottles and end up in the ocean or some shit. But the places that are cool, they have these machines that are like, they have filters. Those are pretty cool. You can find those around the world, different areas. But yeah, some of the water's bad, man. You shouldn't drink it. A lot of countries, many countries, most actually. So,
you have it, folks.
Watch out for that.
The Americans are privileged. Yeah, man.
With that, some places, I don't know about Texas tap water. California was pretty bad sometimes in the drought years, man. But
you love Texas tap water.
Let
me just taste this guy.
It's been very rainy here, which reminds me of the weather in New York from like May and April. So April, it's like it rains like almost every day, almost.
Crazy, yeah, man.
But it's been like that.
Because of the humidity, or why is that?
I don't know. Like
from the Gulf, I think, Gulf of Mexico.
They told me that it's never humid like this, and it's been raining for like. I feel like I'm in New York. It feels like I'm like, the air is dry. I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah, weird.
My friend that lives in Seattle, he tells me that it's always cloudy and raining over there.
Oh, I live near there. Yeah, it rains every day. They got good water though, nice forest, but it rains almost every day. Yeah, I lived near Seattle one time.
Seattle too, how they have like it's very semi-corrupted, like somehow, like it's a lot of things going on behind the scenes that we don't know about in Seattle.
Yeah, it is. Pacific Northwest.
The cannabis trade out there is very like sketchy. Like it's very like they treat it like the mob out there.
Yeah, well, that's part of why I think they made it legal. They opened up the store so you could just. They did that way back, like 5 years ago, 2015, 6 years ago, where they opened up the stores where it's just like buying a beer or something. It was kind of interesting to experience that 5-6 years ago. Yeah, but that's a whole nother thing.
So
Any more questions? Oh, what's up?
Raymond, what is your ultimate goal of how many countries you want to visit before you
Oh, that's a good
leave
one.
this
That's a good
world?
one. Yeah, man. Getting close to 100 countries would be cool, man. There's some places, there's some places I probably would never go because like North Korea, something like that. Like it's too sketchy, or somewhere where something really bad is happening. So I'm not one of those people that want to go to every country. There's a few people out there like that they're like, I'm trying to get to every country. I'm not going to try to do that, but 100 would be cool, man. 50, 100, that would be cool, man. But really, like I said before, I feel like cities are almost more important than countries. Because every city sometimes is so different, especially if it's a big country, and you really notice if you stop and look around, like, whoa, this is way different than the city in the north. The city in the south is something like even Albania is split into two. The north speaks a certain dialect, and the south is a different dialect. Tosk and Czech. Oh, I don't want to mispronounce that. Albanian people, don't hate on me, man. I forget the dialect names, man. Sorry. Fundamental. That means it. But yeah, even Albania is split into two sections. The north and south are super different. Kind of reminds me of Cali, man. California, man. Northern California, Southern California, LA, San Diego. We're different than them, man. We're not cool with them down there, man. We're from the Bay, man. We're from Northern California. Same kind of thing like that, So cities sometimes are even different, depending where.
Yeah. So, man,
Yeah.
Raymond, man, it's definitely been a pleasure sharing with you your experience in the world travel.
I appreciate it.
You coming on and giving our public and viewers insight on what your experience has been like, so maybe they can get out of New York or out of the United States, right, and travel themselves. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
man.
a big fan of traveling. We only live life once, so I want to travel as much as I can and get to know different cultures, different places. And I appreciate you coming on the show, man. But at the end of the Roundtable podcast, we do a final thought. And since you're our guest, we'll do a final thought based on world traveling.
Based on world traveling, yeah, don't be afraid to get out there and do it before it's too late. Exactly. You only live once, and the world is always changing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I bet 10 years ago, Albania was completely different. And in 10 more years, it might be exactly like Queens or something. Like a lot of times places, like I see some of the teenagers and I'm like, man, these teenagers, they look exactly the same in Ireland as they do in Vietnam. They're wearing the same clothes. They're all on their phones. The world is getting a lot smaller. So it's like becoming a real globalized culture. So to go experience these things kind of before, maybe that's a final thought. Do it before it's too late. Get out of your comfort zone and stay safe, stay cool. Don't be snobby. How about that? That's a final thought. Don't be snobby. Don't be the snobby American. You go into the gutter, well, maybe not the gutter, but go into the grind of the real neighborhoods, man. Get in there, feel comfortable, and you'll be rewarded for it, man, by going to places like that. Get out of the resorts. That was a lot of thoughts. But yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. Gazur is cheers in Albanian.
Yeah, for sure, man. So, Chris Ryder, you got a final thought there for Raymond?
2 hours. Woo.
Like I said before, man, you are probably one of the top 10 greatest human beings I've ever met. You have a heart of gold. You're a humble dude.
I like that. Thank you.
And the fact that you've been supporting us since the beginning, it's real big for us. And I'm so glad and happy and honored that you're on this show. And we really focus on knowledge and all kinds of knowledge. Well, it doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah, I like that about you guys.
We want to show the world and people that they're, regular people just like them. If you have a goal, you have a dream, if you want to just go and do something, it's possible by showing you people who've done it. And that's what we our purpose here in Dinner at the Round Table is to spread knowledge, different types of and it's really a privilege and honor to have you on here. I am so envious and jealous of you that you visited 25 countries. Like, who in the world can say they visited 25 countries?
Oh, man.
And the fact that you've had the balls to be able to do something like that and change your whole life. And I definitely want to give a shout out to your wife, who who makes it possible for you.
Hey, you hear that? Yeah, man. We're a good team. We're a good team. Yeah, it's different when you do it alone. All right, final thought, Frank.
You have a great person with you to share it with, and you're not alone. And that's what's the most important thing, is that you have somebody there with you throughout the
Yeah, man.
So shout out to her. Shout out to you, man. You're an inspiration to anybody who ever wants to not have a lot of money in the bank and be able to follow their dreams and travel the world. And I mean, you've seen some amazing places.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
David, man, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for sharing your thoughts and your experience with us. You're definitely a great dude. I like your energy, man. You're very positive and a very friendly person. You're humble. I can tell, just by sharing these a few.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Podcasts. Thank you for supporting us. From day one.
Day one.
And
Always.
We're always here, man. Have you back on, man, to talk about your adventures in the world, brother.
Yeah, man. Something real crazy. I'll send you guys a message. Be like, talk about this on your next show. I just saw this. Yeah, I don't know, something like that. Yeah, man.
But yeah, man,
I appreciate it.
A message to the listeners and viewers out there, man, is just like, you only live life once. If you want to get something done and you want to do it, just go ahead and, go ahead and do it, man. Experience things. The only thing you take with you when you die is the memories, the good ones, the bad ones. But you want to have good memories of stuff. You know what I mean? So just get out there and get it done, right?
Not just material things, man. You got it, man. Get it done. I like that. You guys, that was super nice, guys. Thanks for having me on. Just do it. Just do it.
Just do it.
Yes.
Yeah. Chris, man, thank you for having me on. My old friend, man, and Nelly, it was nice meeting you in person, and you guys are dope. Keep the show going no matter where you're living, and live life, man. Stay positive. That's a huge part about it. Stay positive.
Today is you live your life. Live life. That's the most important thing. And my friend, great friend Ray, is a testament of what it means to live your life and to take the chance. I took a chance. If you feel like you're stuck in the same place, there's a way to make your dreams come true, and Ray is a testament to that. And that's
I like that one.
what it is. If you feel like you're stuck in the same place, if you feel like you can't get out of where you're at, that's an excuse. That's not true. We here
don't make excuses.
make it possible for people like you. Ray's a regular dude. He's not have $1 million in the bank. He's not a rich dude. But he has made a way to make his dreams a reality. Yeah. And that is for you out there who feel like they can't escape their dreams.
Thank you, man.
You gotta be able to understand and make it possible. And it can happen.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Dinner with the Round Table. Thank you. Great show.
Those are the words of a killer for you. We out of here, man.
2 hours we did. 2 hours. Woo! That's crazy. All right, guys.
With this giant laser.
So we out of here, man.
Mr. President, in 12 hours, I will destroy Washington, D.C. with this laser.
This is Dinner at the Round Table Podcast.
Here's the plan. We get the warhead and we hold the world ransom for $1 million. $1 million. $1 million. $1 million.